All right, folks, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. We got one more segment for you tonight, and we promise you it'll be a good one. We're on the set of our new live show, and we thought it'd be a good idea to share with you guys what we're doing there. We're outside the studio for Creep Radio. This is where we tape our new radio show that'll be coming to you real soon online, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m., so stay tuned for that. So let's get back to the Texans talk about the firing of Gary Kubiak with John Harris from Yahoo Radio and HMW's Angelo Lawford. I'm Craig Shelton. I am here for you every Saturday from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and we talk sports on this show. Today we are talking quite a bit of Houston Texans. We've been on Texans for 3 segments. We'll start the 4th segment with the Texans. I came prepared to get off into some NBA stuff. No NBA news, particularly here in Houston. That's bigger news than what's going on over at Reliance Stadium. On Friday, the Rockets did start contacting teams in an effort to move Omir Asik, or however you guys want to pronounce it. I believe the correct pronunciation is Asik. The Rockets are looking to move Asik between the December 15th and December 19th date, and the reason why that is relevant is because the 15th represents the first day that they can make that deal. I believe I got my dates right. The 15th, but the 19th is the more critical day, which I am definitive about, is because it's important to get a deal done by the 19th, because whatever other player would be involved in that deal that the Rockets would bring in, player or players in exchange for Isaac, they have to do it by the 19th in order for those players to remain eligible to be used in another deal. If the Rockets want, in other words, trade Isaac, bring in a player or two, and then be able to use those players to package up a deal before the NBA trade deadline in February, which is February the 20th. So hopefully the Rockets and Daryl Morey will be able to get that done. So we'll see about that. I got some other stuff in the NBA. Kobe's coming back on Sunday. I want may get to touch on that a little bit. And Derrick Rose, not closing the door on coming back for the playoffs. Had some interesting comments there on Thursday. If we get a chance to get a little bit deeper into that stuff, we will. I just wanted to give it at least a mention to say that we did it. But I'm not going to apologize for keeping it on the Texans today, folks. I just think that's where it is, and that's where we should be. John Harris joining us in studio from 1560 The Game, Yahoo Radio, right here in Houston. That is Angelo Lawford from our website, one of the writers with HoustonMediaWatch.com, and we'll continue with the fellas. We've been picking Bob McNair's brain because we want to know what's going on with the Texans going forward. Haven't spent a lot of time on the past on this show today, and like I said, I wish we had 2 hours a day, a lot to cover. Bob McNair, another quote. He says, "We expect to be right back." You'll love this one, John. "We expect to be right back in playoff contention next year. This is not a long-term rebuilding process." We went here in the opening of the show. I'm concerned that Bob McNair thinks that this is a quick fix for the Texans. And in other words, what does that mean, Bob? Do you bring in a veteran quarterback? Are you going after Jay Cutler if he becomes a free agent? The team is saying they want to evaluate Case Keenum. I would like to see the team evaluate Case Keenum. I would like to see the team turn around, draft DeJavian Clowney in the first round. I would like to see the team pick up another young quarterback in the draft. Maybe they can make some moves if there's somebody else. I'm more of a Hundley guy than I am a Teddy Bridgewater guy if you're going to go with a quarterback as you in the first round. But I would like to see the Texans take Teddy Bridgewater. Yes, still draft a quarterback as early as possible. I just don't want to see the Texans stretching and just reaching and taking a quarterback because we have to take a quarterback when he really doesn't grade out to what he needs to grade out to be a part of a quick fix situation, because you're not that good everywhere else to bring a young guy in and make that happen. Also, I would like to see the Texans bring in a free agent. So I would like to see 2 new guys on this roster at the quarterback position next year. A rookie that's drafted, a free agent guy, Jason Campbell's of the world, those type of guys that can come in and be a positive presence in the locker room, show guys how to be pros, keep trying to develop Case, create that competition and move forward. John.
Well, I think, first of all, back to McNair's comment about the fact that this is a quick fix. I mean, if you
Which means I don't think it's a quick fix.
Which, if you go across the roster, if you just go by position, you need to fill, I think, at a minimum, 2 holes on the offensive line. You're going to lose Owen Daniels, so that means you got to re-sign Gary Cram. You need to find a quarterback. You're probably okay at receiver.
Okay, let's go through those. Slow down. Offensive line.
Wade Smith,
right tackle and left guard.
Left guard.
Okay.
Got to go.
Okay.
Even Chris Myers started showing some cracks, but I think he'll still be around.
Yeah.
So that's not an issue. I think Brandon Brooks has shown enough. I don't think he's been great, but
no,
I think
hasn't been great.
But he's been okay. So you at least have got to fill those 2 holes on the offensive line. On the defensive line, haven't seen a lot from Earl Mitchell. You got nothing from Brooks Reed. Whitney Merciless has shown a little bit. Antonio Smith's money is too rich, although he's had a good season, so I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but he's just too rich. Inside linebackers have done really nothing all year long. I mean, Sharpton has been up and down and finally able to stay healthy, but he's just been too up and down. You know, you bring Cushing back. Jonathan Joseph, I think, has been terrible. Your safety situation is a mess. If you're going into a season with Shiloh Ko, you're screwed.
Yes.
So there, to me, are way too many holes.
Change his name to Bad Angle?
Well, you know,
I don't want to call Shiloh Ko. We should just call him Bad Angle.
Well, he's just not an NFL starting safety.
No, he's not.
I mean, and he's
really
not.
given a great effort.
But the fact is you should have never been in that place in the first place. You should have re-signed Glover Quinn.
That's right.
And you should have kept Quinn here. You draft Swearinger to be the 3rd safety. Ko is the 4th safety and playing special teams where he needs to be, and you're done. But you have way too many holes in this roster to think it's going to be a quick fix, because I guarantee you, Bob McNair is thinking about what? The Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs were 2-14 last year, and now look at them. They went out and got a head coach. They went out and they got a quarterback, and now look at them. Well, yeah, they added a rookie left tackle who's going to end up being a stud, and they brought in Bob Sutton to be the defensive coordinator, and he's been a superstar. But they had 5 Pro Bowlers already, so I can see Bob's thinking. But when you look beneath the surface a little bit more, you realize this is, I don't think, a quick fix. Now, if they want to go the free agent route with a quarterback, you bring up Jay Cutler. I'm not opposed to it. I don't mind a gunslinger, but I want my gunslinger to stay healthy for 16 games. Yep. I want him to be there. Jay, when he has been healthy with the Bears, they've been good. When Jay's gone out, the Bears nosedive. So I'm not opposed to that idea about Jay Cutler. I want to go back to your Bridgewater-Hundley comments, though. You now need to have a little sit-down. We need to talk, because Hundley, in theory, at 6'4", 227, should be a stud and hasn't been and hasn't thrown the ball well. You'll like Teddy Bridgewater. Trust me. South Florida kid, playing Pop Warner since he's 5.
And I do like him.
High football
IQ.
his arm.
I like him as a passer, but I
the
don't
best
know
thing,
enough about him.
The best thing that you said, I think, and this might be the one thing that people got to keep in mind, I don't know that he's the right guy for a quick fix. If you give him a year or 2, then I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a fantastic quarterback. But can you go through the hills and valleys with him with this team?
Well, if he's going to be a fantastic quarterback, I don't mind it not being a quick fix.
Yeah.
I just don't know that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be a fantastic quarterback. Now, I trust your judgment. You've watched more Teddy Bridgewater on a detailed basis, more detail than I.
Tough.
I agree in regard to some of the stuff you said with Hundley, because I can't really argue. It's been there. I mean, the numbers are what they are. But I don't know that that's all about Hundley's play as opposed to some of the situations. Well, how he's used in some situations. I felt like that UCLA offense should be an even more prolific offense than what it is.
Well, I think I
think that's all about Hundley.
No, it's not. It's not all about Hundley, but he has shown some cracks in the armor because his offensive line has been young. He's had a lot of injuries. I think that's affected his progress.
Definitely.
Really has. Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, has talked about Sean and myself about that, about how Brett has really been fazed by the rush, and he's looked at the offensive line, which is he's got to break that habit before he comes into the league. But with Teddy, the one thing that I always want in my quarterback is he's got to be the toughest cat on the field. Mm-hmm. He's a smooth operator, and he is tough. And that you'll love. He is tough. Last year against Rutgers, he didn't start the game. They had to win the game to go to the Sugar Bowl and to win the Big East. He had a cast on his wrist. He couldn't even throw. He had a cast on his ankle, basically wrapped up, could barely run. They were down 17 points the second half, and Charlie Strong put him in the game. He led him to 3 touchdowns. He could barely walk, could barely throw. 3 touchdowns he threw for in the second half, brought him back to a win, and they won the Big East because of it. There's a video of him after the game going up to his offensive coordinator. He could barely get to him, and his offensive coordinator just hugs him and just hugs him. And then that's the way people feel about Teddy Bridgewater. And if you saw him the other night against Cincinnati, it's 4th and 12. He scrambled, he spun, he pie-faced the guy, and he literally backed over the first down line to get a first down. 3 plays later, he did the same thing and threw falling down Johnny Manziel style to the back of the end zone and dropped a dime right in the corner to his wide receiver. Those 2 plays almost encapsulate everything you know about Teddy Bridgewater.
So
he will come up big in big spots, and that's something the quarterback has never done here in Houston.
What I have seen from Teddy Bridgewater that I have seen enough of over time is the times I saw him, and I won't use the term struggle, but maybe not be as prolific early in the game as the game was with all of the build up and hype for the game.
Right.
But then by the 4th quarter,
when it's nut cutting time,
he's
your guy.
And I do like that about him. But I appreciate your opinion so much and trust you so much. But I'm always want to tell the truth about things. I just haven't seen enough of Teddy Bridgewater with my own eyes.
I understand.
1st quarter to 4th quarter for me to be as passionate as you are about it. But I trust you so much that I would tell people to listen to John on this one.
That said, your point about Jadeveon Clowney, if they take Clowney at the #1 pick, there won't be one tear shed over here. Not one. Not one. You put him alongside J.J. Watt and you got Merciless who's showing some growth, now you got a pass rush.
The biggest problem
now you got a pass
Texans
rush.
moving forward is, and in fairness, I guess we shouldn't forget what this team turned out to be as opposed to what it was supposed to be health-wise. Arian Foster back, Owen Daniels, Daniel Manning wheels, Brian Cushing wheels. Then you think about a guy like Brendan Williams, who was brought in here to play some. He should have been a part of the rotation this year, or the competition at minimum.
Yep.
At right tackle, Quisenberry, a kid I like, incredible. I just really like Quisenberry. I think he's tough. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he can play all up and down that offensive line, and you got to have a guy like that. Then you think about the mismanagement of the situation with Sam Montgomery in drafting him, drafting him to be an outside linebacker when he's clearly a 4-3 defensive end, and then now he's not even on the team. Brooks Reed doing nothing. You give Willie Jefferson not even enough opportunities to matter. So it just turned upside down for the Texans folks. Today I want to encourage you to go check out the website. That is HoustonMediaWatch.com. We are Houston's media watchdogs. We cover the teams and we cover the folks that cover the teams. I want to thank John Harris from 1560 The Game, Yahoo Radio, for joining us on the show today, and my man Angelo Lawford from HMW as we get close to wrapping it up here. Angelo, I know you had a couple things and that was something you wanted to throw out there.
Right. In terms of your opinion about the quick fix versus the long-term solution. Now, who do you think is going to be the biggest factor as to what the team, what's the philosophy behind the team now? Is it going to be Rick Smith or is it going to be Bob McNair making the choice to say, well, is it a quick fix or is it a long-term sort of situation?
Everything that I've learned from people that I trust in regard to the Texans is I don't see Bob McNair as a guy who doesn't let people do their jobs. I feel firmly that he has interjected at times and been a part of decision-making processes. I believe 100% wholeheartedly that Wade Phillips is here because of Bob McNair.
Right.
I think Frank Bush is gone because of Bob McNair. So that said, I think that Bob McNair will give Rick Smith every opportunity to be a true general manager this go around if he wasn't in fact the first time. I think common sense tells us that that wasn't an ideal or a traditional setting in regard to the GM and coach, as John laid out earlier. So I'm going to say that it's all about. I think that Bob McNair will allow the Texans brass, however it's going to be assembled, whoever the new coach will be and coaching staff will be, to manage and take care of business. But I do think he may have one thing to say. He may not allow Wade Phillips not to be the defensive coordinator on this football team. He may make whoever comes in here work with Wade Phillips. Let me say this, folks. For me, the Texans failed overall under the Gary Kubiak regime. They failed to step up and make timely, bold moves. Making bold moves after the fact doesn't do much for me. I think what it takes to move a franchise to the next level, as far as being changing a culture to being a championship culture. Winning culture is one thing. A champion, that's a different deal. A champion is Akeem Olajuwon. You know, that's a whole different deal. And I think what we saw with Gary Kubiak the last couple of years in the playoffs, if nothing else, told you that against elite coaches, elite coaching staffs, he's above his head. He can't handle that. He's not that guy. And I think we saw, particularly in the last couple of years, that Matt Schaub was not a winner. So what we saw take place over at Reliance Stadium in that media room yesterday, um, I'll say for the fans, I know you're happy. I said use the term euphoric earlier. Great, good for the fans, but I caution you. What made you feel so good yesterday at Reliance Stadium, folks? The fact that it took 2-11 to make you feel that way, to get the things to occur that needed to occur, to appease the fan base. It took 2-11. Be cautious, folks. Be cautious with your emotions, because I don't know. I can't honestly say that we've seen the end of this little series. We'll just call it a series, because 2-11, nah, it didn't take 2-11 to know that Matt Shaw wasn't the winner and Gary Kubiak wasn't the guy to lead this team. For Richard Walker and for the entire HMW family, my man John Harris from Yahoo Radio, man, we appreciate you guys. We'll be right here next week at 6 o'clock from 6 to 7, talking more Texans, Rockets. Hey, how about the Astros? We'll see you then. All right, folks, that will wrap it up. That's another episode of The Cut in the Basket. 3-point shot. We hit it there. Hey, look, man, we appreciate you folks supporting UTN. We appreciate you folks supporting HMW and this show, The Cut, and we appreciate the sponsors. We've been right here outside the studio where we tape the shows, and we also will be taping our new online radio show, Creep Radio, so stay tuned for more information on that, firing up real soon right here in December. Folks, you have a good evening, and we'll see you next time right here on The Cut.